Okay, back with you guys up here in the machine room. So overall, I had a chance to go through everything here. Obviously, we got a set of cables bad here, but all three passenger elevators on the drive shivs, because I can't quite get up inside underneath that shiv guard. I can't quite see what's going on with the shiv groove depth. So we need to get these things measured. Obviously, we can see the different heights. Car 1, here's car 2, there's car 3. So they're all sitting at different depths. To me, they all look like they're recessed below, too far below, but I can't tell because I can't measure and I can't get on top of the shiv, which is where I need to get at. So we're going to have these things measured up, make sure that those grooves are definitely within spec. Obviously, we've got our commutator here in car 2. And here's a portion of it that's bad. Let's see if I can get some different angles for you. Obviously, you see that different spot flashing past. We definitely want to get that repaired. But anyhow, I think I misspoke earlier. Everything here's got 1/2-inch cables. I think when I came over here, for some reason, the cables look smaller. This is car 4, our service car. This hasn't been running all that much since I've been up here, but this, we could take a look over the top of the brake drum and see if I can get the camera in here. And you can see that those cables are sitting well below the shiv grooves. So I think this shiv is, it needs some help, it needs some repair. So I have not had a chance to take a look at this one run yet. What floor are we at? We're at the lobby, okay. I do want to take another full run, but really why it's going to run again. Let's take a look. Just looking for any bad spots as they're going past here. But really what I wanted to show you, I did back a video up here in the machine room. See if I can show you testing documents over here. So, not saying that this is intentional or this was on purpose. Sometimes what we see, this is all of your annual tests. I've tried to block everything out as best I can. So an annual test, if it's performed in June of 2020, we're going to start back here. The next test should be performed by June of 2021. So we can see this elevator company actually exceeded expectations. So we did that in the 2021. And then, and actually that was going to be also the 5-year test, which includes the annual. So I guess we could start in 2021. Rolling into 2022, the annual test should have been performed by May. So they exceeded that. In 2023, annual test should have been performed by April. It's got to be within the 12-month period, and then we start to taper off. 2024, they skipped 4 months of testing, and then into 2025, they skipped another handful of months. So we can see annual testing is getting tapered. So really, these elevators are running with past due testing. That is a code violation. This is something that the building is likely paying for. I have not seen a maintenance agreement. I'm assuming that because our service provider is here on a monthly basis. So if it's a service that we're supposed to be receiving and we're not, our customer is certainly going to want to know that. So we're going to let them know that, hey, we've been lapsing on annual testing for the past couple of years. That does expose the building to some type of liability. So we have guys in our office that take care of expert witnessing and litigation. I'm not a part of that, but it certainly sounds like testing is a major component of that. And that's typically where the law firms will tend to go. Okay, let's establish the baseline. Let's figure out where we're at with elevators. When was the last test performed? Should there have been an injury or anything worse at the building? So, but that's really what I wanted to show you. Was that information on testing. So sometimes it's intentional. So you can imagine if the service provider does not perform the testing and they get the skip, 4 months, 8 months, or a year, essentially they're not paying a mechanic to come out here, and they take that money and put it right back in their pocket. So that's where we stand at. But really that's about it up here. So overall you can see how dirty these machineries are. This is a constant battle with these machines. Just because these brushes are going to throw all kinds of residue everywhere. If we're here monthly and the mechanic is getting ample time here, we like I said, we have not seen the maintenance agreement. The machinery should be spotless. So we can take a look down here. So we're also going to take a look in the contract. Is painting in the machine room, is that included? That's something that we typically like to see. We're looking for stuff performed in a first-class manner. We're looking for equipment that's going to be presented in a first-class manner. Elevators are not cheap. Maintenance contracts are not cheap. Labor is not cheap. So we want to make sure that what we're getting is what we're paying for. So that's it here. I'm going to finish up some paperwork up here, and then we'll swing down. We'll take a look inside some Hoistways. Okay, we're on a car top of car 1. So if you guys remember up in the machine room, this is the one with the set of cables that need to be replaced. You can see all the debris that's here. This is all the towel that was being thrown off. Some of it was on the machine room floor. It's all over the car top. You can see it's even here on the sill at the very top landing. Stuff's everywhere. So obviously we got to get this cleaned up. I don't know if you guys can see that below. It's on the sill below it. It's just getting thrown everywhere. Looks like they have been changing, or at least they did change. See if I can focus the light in here. That's what I'm talking about. It's part of the Hoistway door equipment. That's part of the interlock system. Zoom back out. That's actually going to be this component right here. You can see the metal contact right here, which doesn't look too bad. It looks pretty clean. That's going to get made up inside here. If I could show that to you guys. But really, once that circuit gets completed, that tells the controller, hey, the hoistway door is closed, car is okay to run. We have one of those on the car door side as well. Can't see it just yet. But most of the stuff you won't be able to see unless you're with somebody that can get you access to the hoistway. Typically, that's going to be with the mechanic. So here's the counterweight side. There's those 6-pack rollers I was talking about. Those are Elsco C's. Okay. But I'm going to see if I can call one of these cars back up. And something that you can see just by looking up into the hoistway door jamb when an elevator does show up. Maybe we might get car 1 again. There we go. There's our sills. But if we take a look up inside here, you can see how filthy this is. So if our mechanic is here monthly, chances are he's probably not getting the time he needs from his office to be able to go through and clean everything. He's probably got too many units on his route. Like I said, I'm just guessing. He just doesn't have time to take care of the housekeeping items. So this is one of the things that we do look for if this is a service being paid for under the current maintenance agreement. We want to verify that is the service being received. Right now the elevator is going in a nudge because I've held the doors open too long because it wants to take another call. Okay, so we got one of the passenger cars. We're on number 3. We're at the highest landing. Elevator sitting down below us at the next floor. Overall, taking a look at everything on the car top. Focus our light a little bit here to help us. So over here we've got Elsco A roller guide assemblies. These were definitely installed during the modernization. So looking at wheels condition, is anything getting eaten up? I don't see anything major here. Down here is our door operation system. Making sure nobody's going to step into our car while we're taking a look at it. So this looks like it's that should be GAM, a VFE 2500. I don't know when these were installed. I don't have any paperwork saying when these are installed, but it looks like they were done after the modernization. We got some pickup rollers that are sitting down here. This is overall dusty, dirty. So I've already looked at car 2, but car 3, this one's been a little bit more quiet. Obviously we can see the elevator is in its own hoistway. We're fully surrounded all the way around. If we step over to cars 1 and car 2, that's going to be a shared hoistway. Car 2 has got different roller guide assemblies on top, and I don't know why they did that just yet. They've actually got Express 3 roller guide assemblies from Elsco, which are much larger wheels. And right here you can see these roller guides. That's considered a 6-pack. The Elsco Express, there's only 3 rollers, so 3-pack. So that's what we have on those. Why there's a difference, I don't know. Counterweight side, at least on car 1 that I've seen so far as the elevator's been traveling. Those have Elsco C, which is another 6-pack roller guide assembly, which I imagine this car has as well. So, just looking at the hoistway door equipment, what do we have up here? Seeing what's been changed, pickup rollers, is anything damaged? Sills overall look like they're in pretty good condition. I gotta take a look at the cars again, but I think these are either bronze or nickel silver. But I gotta take a peek, but they're definitely not aluminum. Okay. So that's it here. If I notice anything unusual on the car tops, overall so far pretty quiet, I'll let you guys know. Okay, over here we're on the top of car 4. This is our service car. Really what I wanted to show you guys here was going to be our cable system. Get my light adjusted here. I'm going to look all the way at the very top of the hoistway. That's the end of the dead end hitch on the hoistway side, which we were able to see on the machine room floor. Cables come down on top of the car, go around the drive shift, not a drive shift, on top of a car top shift, come back up. These cables here are gonna go over the top of the machine, come back down to the machine room floor, over the deflector shiv. Cables are gonna come down to the counterweight, which is gonna be at the very bottom landing right now, go around a shiv that looks exactly like this. It's gonna come up the other side, and gonna end up at that dead end hitch. So if you guys ever see what 2-to-1 roping is, or what that means, or what that looks like, that's what it looks like inside the hoistway. Along with the machine room, if any of you are watching that don't have access to the machine room, but have always wondered what that looks like, that's what it is. Hoistway door equipment, obviously we got original tracks here. They put new spirators on, new pickup rollers, and all that good stuff. So, really just dusty here. That's all I'm seeing. This one does have a second closer on it, so we have a spirator here, and then down here, we tend to call these things grasshoppers. Let's see if I can flip this around. Spring loaded, help the door shut. So if I take my foot off, those are a couple items that are installed to help the doors shut. This is overall, I need some housekeeping help on top here. Likely the mechanic just needs more time. He just doesn't have it. Other thing I'm noticing here, looks like we did vandal resistant Hoistway equipment here. I'm sorry, hull risers. All metal construction. If we come back out here, we can see that one's plastic. I mean, I understand, putting vandal resistant here, but these are probably going to get the most use for the passenger side. In our opinion, in my opinion, all this equipment needs to be vandal resistant. So we'll certainly make mention of that when we discuss with the customer. That's typical. These are typically items that are brought up during a modernization. What type of fixtures do we want? Do we want vandal resistant, not vandal resistant? What colors do we want? So we can get really granular with the items that we discuss. But really for the purposes of this, we'll take a look at the fixtures inside the cabs and see if it carries over. Maybe everything on the service side is going to be vandal resistant, and everything on the passenger side is not. I'm not sure, have not gotten that far, but we'll certainly take a look. So that's all we have here. I'm going to go take a look at the pits, and then we'll run some performance times here. We'll see if we get back to you. Okay, we're checking out the pits here. We're on car number 2. See, our overall housekeeping down here is pretty poor. These pits have not been cleaned in quite some time. Buffers, everything is original from Houghton. We'll focus our light down here. Here's our tail shift. So the governor, which was upstairs, which I mentioned earlier, obviously they've replaced the governor cable. However, the tail shift down here at the very bottom, that's original. They kept that. So that kind of gives us an idea of the scope that was performed during the mod. But these are the Alsco Express roller guide assemblies. You can see just how large they are. We'll take a look at the Alsco A's, and you're going to see how much smaller they are. But anyhow, as far as traveling cables, really these two things here, that's our extension cord that goes from the car, kind of loops down here, and this goes all the way up to the entire height of the hoistway and connects into the controller cabinet. That's how everything communicates. Buffer wise, this is our car buffer on the back side there, our counterweight buffer, really skinny pit ladder to get down here. That's really all I'm seeing in here. So housekeeping, it's most likely to be the same thing over here. We can see how rouge those are. Other thing I did mention to you, we have compensation cables. It's going to help offset the weight of the traction cables, just for how tall this building is. I'm just seeing how far down that frame is in tension. Pit equipment, looks like we do have a sump pump down there. If I can kind of curl the phone around. If I notice anything else, we'll jump back in. Okay, we're checking out the pit on car number 3. These have the different style Alsco roller guides. You can see how much smaller these wheels are. Still a high-speed elevator application. Capacity on these are pretty high. There's a few different types of wheels that they can use for higher capacity cars, just tougher material. But the black material here tends to give the best ride quality. But you can see how fuzzy these are. Housekeeping again. That's going to be carried across the board on basically everything we've seen so far. Tail shift still the same. Car and counterweight buffers. Pit needs to be cleaned. However, I don't think our light is going to work because we have no bulb. That's got to get fixed. That's it here. All right, we're checking out the pit here on car number 4. This is a service car. Dirty pit. Buffers, everything's the same. The only thing really substantially different on this car Instead of those compensation cables, we have what's called compensation chains. If we take a look down here at the very back, let me see if I can zoom in on that. There's no guide on these chains, and you can see the sway on it. I just stopped the car here a few seconds ago. What the mechanics have done is they've put material in between the chain and the buffer to keep the chain from rubbing into it. They do make guides for it. I gotta cut this car loose because somebody did step inside. This front light works. I mean, they do make guides for these things. I mean, that's something that should have been done during the last modernization. It wasn't taken care of. So we get involved in minute details like that. Even so much as you can see on this car, this landing is labeled lower level. If we go inside the cab and go to this landing, it's going to be labeled B, assumed basement, which is obviously incorrect. If we take a look at these cars over here, all three of these passenger cars, they're all going to show the same thing. Everything's labeled lower landing or lower level, and inside the cabs it's labeled same thing, LL. So little things like that. They likely did a cab interior upgrade or a panel upgrade here, and just little details like that was missed. But everything does display here correctly. We'll call this guy. Let me stop here at the lobby level first. Then it should be coming down to meet us, but you'll see what we're talking about here. Displays correctly here, everything matches. If we come into the cab here, lower level, they look down here, basement. So details, just details were missed. Those are items that obviously we want to get cleaned up during the next modernization, but as far as getting everything to match now, it does need to be taken care of.